Okay, so to close the live stream, because unfortunately I don't have all that time today, I would like to just show you one new thing that we have into the controls. All right, so let me show you the controls of the game regarding the force feedback. So let's go to the options, controls. So in the controls, obviously now we have the frequency updated to 400 Hz. We also, as usual, you can lower this to 133 or 266. So you have different steps. Why you would want to use different steps or lower steps? Well, some wheels might not have electronics that can deal with such high frequencies, and they might flat out all the feedback that is arriving and filter it out. So you might want to use a lower frequency. Try it. It's not a problem. It's not a big deal. You can try it easily, no problems at all. You might even get better feedback than before. Okay. And that's one thing. Now, that's about the frequency. But we have a new thing here called damper, right? Damper. Now, since the initial steps of Assetto Corsa Competizione, we always wanted you to have a little damping in the steering wheel. Now, unfortunately, we've learned that not all drivers deal with the damping inside games in the same way. So we might have enabled the damping in the game, but for whatever reason it is not working because of whatever the driver is doing, or it is not working because the profile of the driver. As we said in Assetto Corsa Competizione, we always intended to experience it with a little bit of damping. Why is that? Because the tires give so much force, and because it's simply not realistic to have the steering wheel completely free, that you can move it around and it doesn't stop and it moves around like crazy. Okay, or you go into the straight line and the steering wheel, if you leave it, starts oscillating like crazy and oscillates even more, and then at the end the car spins. All right, this is not how real steering wheels work. Okay, all steering wheels have a small amount of damping, either from the mechanic or from the tires or whatever. So Assetto Corsa Competizione, to be experienced in a proper way, asks for some damping in the steering wheel. It needs to be minimum. It doesn't need to be high, because obviously if you have lots of damping, then it doesn't. It's difficult to turn, but most importantly, when you want to correct, it's not free enough and it doesn't move freely enough, and you're going to be slow and you won't be able to correct it. And as I said, we found out that many wheels, even if we applied the damper on the core of the game, do not apply damper from the driver as well. So what we did, we've put this damper setting here. Here's my recommendation. Please try it. Go to your driver of the steering wheel, or the same steering wheel here if you have a Fanatec, for example. Find the pure damping, not the natural damping, not the friction damping, whatever. Find the pure damping, raise it to 100 from the drivers. Okay, raise it to 100 from the drivers, and then get into here and start playing in game with this slider. What is the result that you want to achieve? Okay, because that's important. Why you want to play with this and get the result that you want to achieve. The result is that you need a steering wheel that it is free when you want to counter steer, free enough with a little bit of constant friction. But that constant friction, it's something that you just feel it. It shouldn't be too high, okay? But at the same time, you need enough damping that when you go to the straight line, like Monza, and you do to your steering wheel something like this, a little bit, you know, not too much. The steering wheel should do 1, 2, 3, and get back straight. So let me show you maybe this, how it works, okay? So let's go to Monza. For Fanatec, you should find it inside the in the steering wheel in the various screens of the LED screen. It should be there. So let's go to Monza. Okay. Maybe hot stint so that we can start from the back straight. And let's see what's going on. I will just leave it as it is, we don't care. Alright, so straight line, go up to speed, not slow speed because obviously nothing will happen. So let's go up to speed, around 200 kilometers per hour should be enough, 250, whatever. Okay, go completely straight. Okay, now if you leave the steering wheel, nothing will happen. Even if you move the steering wheel, look at this. I move it, and then it just goes straight again. Obviously, if you overdo it, it will keep on going. But after a while, and the faster you go, the more it will move. But you need enough damping to have the steering wheel, realign itself and stay straight. Okay, and if we go now into the options and eliminate the damping here, completely zero. Okay, so now my steering wheel is really completely free. Look at that. Boom! It's really, can you see it how it moves? It's really completely free. Many people are using their steering wheels like that. I don't think that's a good idea. So, first of all, you will feel the car extremely willing to rotate and stable, etc., because it doesn't have a constant feel of rubberness, from the tires. But anyway, let's go. Let's move on. And now we are at the straight again. Let's move it. Look at that. That's not good. That's not how real cars and real steering wheels work. So I just touched it, and then it did instantly everything by itself. What you need, as we said, is that you need to have enough damping that when you move it around, okay, so you want enough damping that when you move this around, you want to feel some of the dampening. You want to have the steering wheel, stay, have some friction. It's like, forcing the tires to turn around. Okay. Keep in mind something, because of the natural damping, which is a different thing. Natural damping is a different thing. When you are stopped like this, even with the damper at zero, you will still feel some of the friction because you are stopped and the tires have friction when you're stopped. You want to check this when you are already moving, okay? So like that. Okay. So this is my advice again. Play a little bit with the dampers, and my advice is don't go for a completely free steering wheel. It's not correctly. It's not correct. You need a tiny bit of damping. You need to fine tune it a little bit. You need a tiny bit of damping. And this is for all steering wheels. It doesn't matter if you have a G27 or a Thrustmaster or a Fanatec or a Simulcube. Obviously, the high-end wheels have even more settings to play with. But even on the lower setting, in the consumer steering wheels, there is still some damping to play with. And I believe, again, don't overdo it. The steering wheel still has to be free to turn around, but you need a little bit of damping. And in my opinion, if you put a tiny little bit of damping, you will also feel the car more stable for your input. So you will turn, and the steering wheel will stay, stable, and the whole car will follow the steering wheel to do the things that it should do.